Hello everybody, and welcome back to Roads Yet Traveled. We are having some fun time in Marrowyn's lab, right? We are going to have some tests run on us, or something. Not entirely sure. Oh, excuse me. Let's go find out, right? As he walks away to prepare for a long day of tests, I find myself sitting at one of the island desks. There's a small machine rumbling next to me, as well as a selection of tools and documents. Scanning the room, I'm a bit shocked by how many monitors there are. Surely no Karen doesn't need that many monitors, right? Oh, here, There we go. Maybe that's better. Maybe that's a worse setting on the mic. No idea. I can never tell. I suppose he has his assistants as well, but still. Seemingly finished, he comes over and pulls up a stool for himself. He puts down a tray and begins scanning me up and down. And just from the expression on his muzzle, I can tell he knows something's up.
You're fidgeting. Are you sure you're okay?
Shit, I hadn't even noticed. I'm sorry, Morrow. I'm just nervous.
There's nothing to be ashamed of, Tucker. I'll go over everything step by step, and if anything sounds too awful, well, we can figure something out. How does that sound?
That sounds good. Thank you.
Now, let's see. What's first on the schedule?
Morrow?
Well, this will either be completely painless or quite awful. I think that's for you to decide.
What?
How do I put this? While the emergency team and I have put some things together, we still don't have a great understanding of your physical anatomy. What I'm saying is, would it be possible if I could observe you in your most natural state?
Naked?
That would be optimal. But if you're not comfortable with it, of course we could
No, do you think I could keep my underwear on?
Well, eventually it might be beneficial to, maybe I could work with, a description or, just an explanation.
Don't make it weird. Maybe some other time. I'm gonna go get undressed, I guess. Ducking behind one of the desks, I start making a little pile of my clothes. Why not just do it there? Like, what, you're just gonna take off your shirt and pants at that point, right? Like, if you're gonna keep your underwear on. And even then, like, he's gonna see you anyway. Like, what is... Okay. Hey, so it's only fair that I learn about canine anatomy, right? Too, after this, right? What the fuck did I just say? You want to see his dick? Just admit to it, Tucker.
I suppose I could pull up some images and, no, of course. If that's what you desire, I'll find some references for you.
I desire to slam my head through a fucking wall, but I don't think he'd appreciate that. Deciding that small talk isn't so much my thing, I continue stripping down until all that's left is my underwear. That takes like 2 seconds. This is not a hassle. You, ready for me, Morrow? He catches himself before peeking out from behind a monitor.
Yes, just a minute, Tucker. Let me set up my notes.
Is he stalling? Surely not, but I suppose I can't be certain.
Okay, ready. Do you mind coming over here? Now, may I see your,
What's wrong?
You're still nervous. Would you like to stop? Perhaps I've asked too much of you.
Stop? We haven't even started, and all I did was get undressed. Of course I'm nervous, though. Doc, wouldn't you be? Who wouldn't be? I mean, I'm an alien. All this is crazy. The fact I can even understand whatever language you're speaking is a miracle.
Correct, and yes, the nature of that fact isn't lost on me, Tucker. I'm simply choosing to look at it the positives of things. Perhaps we should just,
Doc, stop listening to my heart and start listening to me, okay? I'm nervous, I know, but I want to help. I want to be able to help you, so you can help me. It's the least I can do.
Don't belittle your efforts, Tucker. You're doing more than anyone could ask of you. But you're right. I'm sorry. I'll listen to you from now on. Now, may I see your arm?
Oh, right. Hopping up on one of the stools, I offer my arm for him. He goes about inspecting my fingernails, bending my arm this way and that, and taking my blood pressure. I knew his paws were soft, but now on my exposed skin, it's something else entirely. He sighs as he goes about noting down my bruises as well as the rest of the small injuries I've endured. His paw gets to my arm, and I wonder why it healed so well. It's not like I had stitches. Before I could even ask, however, he pulls out a stethoscope and asks to listen to my heart. When the frigid metal causes me to shiver, Morrow panics, but I assure him it's fine. I'm starting to wonder why someone who can hear my heartbeat from across the room needs to spend so long listening to me breathe. Eventually, he's heard enough, as he takes down some notes and continues examining my chest. Wherever he touches leaves an undeniable warmth that is missed the second contact is lost. Methodically, he inspects every muscle and patch of skin he could find, whispering under his breath. He notes every little bump and hair. At this distance, I can feel his breath on my bare skin, and I have to turn away, slightly flushed. His paws are almost big enough to cover my whole chest as he gently runs his fingers along my ribs, carefully feeling them out. A slight drag of an extended claw causes me to jump, which is, of course, met with a slew of apologies. Eventually, however, his movements slow and he retracts his paws. He gives me one last pat on my shoulder before moving to record everything on his monitor. Taking that as a sign that we're finished, I get dressed. And when I return, he's still working. I haven't the slightest idea how monitors work, but I'm starting to think Morrow doesn't either, as he slowly taps away on the screen. Eventually, a bulleted list comes up and he scrolls a large finger down until he stops at a point.
All right. Now I'd like to check your eyes and ears and all that, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. Should I do anything, or,
No, just stay seated as you are, please. This will be quite short, I promise.
He takes a few seconds to explain the procedure before flashing a small light in my eyes and using a tool to look down my ear. There's a lot of him turning away to There's a lot of him turning away to type something up before asking me to move my head this way and that. Okay, I understand the sentence. We got there. To his credit, it is short, and he finishes up after inspecting my teeth.
Only 32. Oh, well. Thank you for that, Tucker.
Yeah, no worries. You learn anything interesting?
Oh my, yes! While many species may come in various shapes and sizes, I've never seen anything quite like you. And, while different, you're just, so eerily similar.
Getting up, he walks over to another side of the desk, still holding conversation.
Really? It's quite fascinating. So, thank you again for this opportunity.
I grunt and he chuckles, messing with the small machine I saw earlier on the desk. What you got there, Doc?
This? There are some of the, saliva samples I took earlier. This machine will divide them into the constitutes parts, and look! This one has your blood.
What?
I mean, this is the machine we're using to learn about, more about your blood samples.
I guess that makes sense. A knock on the door cuts me off, and Marrowyn excuses himself to check it. No one comes in, but after a short conversation, he comes back with a tray of food in tow. Was that Maruk?
Oh no, that was just one of my assistants. If it was Maruk, I'd have welcomed him inside.
So wait, if you do have assistants, why are you making Maruk deliver lunch?
I thought he could use the socialization. He doesn't get out much, you know?
Marrowyn.
I'm kidding, Tucker. He offered. I'm not gonna eat anything, so please, eat if you're hungry. I have to finish a few things before we can continue anyways.
Should I eat here, or, I thought you didn't like to eat where you work. Wait, did he seriously lie about that? Why would he? He has been lying about other things. Oh, has he been lying about other things?
Did I say that? I'll make an exception for you, Tucker. Anyways, it's not like we can go anywhere else right now.
Thanks for the reminder. I mutter with a slight bit of disdain. He feigns a chuckle and awkwardly shuffles by me, getting back to work. What an interesting Karen. I trust him, but I wish he wouldn't lie to protect me so often. Or at least not lie to me so often. But lying is a proud tradition. Little things like whatever that was, I can look past, but if this keeps happening or gets worse, we might have to talk. Eventually, we come up and sit back next to me. He comes back and sits next to me, okay. His typical smile plastered on his face. I think he wants to move past whatever happened, and I'm willing to give him that. I didn't know you had assistants.
Did you think I ran this whole lab myself?
I mean, kinda, yeah.
Oh, I suppose I never brought it up, but you're just not allowed in here right now. They're just not allowed in here right now. They'll still be working with me, mind you. You just won't be able to meet them yet. Anyways, I figured you'd prefer dealing with me instead of someone new.
Yeah, I'm dealing with enough as it is.
I thought as much. Now, are you done? Shall we continue?
I nod and help clean up the plates before Marrowyn heads over to one of the corners and gestures me to follow.
So, as I've said, today's tests are more to get a baseline than anything. At most, I might ask you to take another blood sample, if you think you're up for it later.
I think I can.
Good. Now step up here, please.
He pats a metal plate on the floor and I step on it, noting that it moves slightly in response to my presence. Oh, is it a scale? Looking around, I see, well, what I assume are numbers displayed on a little screen in front of me. Marrowyn carefully records everything as he adjusts some of the dials. So, am I healthy?
I'm afraid you'd have to tell me that, Tucker. According to our definitions, you're underweight and you have a horrible fur condition. But I'm not sure our, metric should apply to you.
Yeah, I don't think so. If it helps at all, I think I might be a bit overweight. Nothing can be concerned about, but, I could afford to exercise a bit more.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm not going to lecture you on that.
He says as he slaps his gut with his free hand.
But thank you for letting me know. I'm just writing the numbers down, but without your input, I can't really figure out much. Like, you told us your age, but without reference to your physical development, that number doesn't really mean much. And the same goes for this.
I can't imagine how confusing all of that, all of this must be. Well, I mean, from a scientific point of view, at least. You have such limited information to work with, and you're trying to figure out so much.
It is quite the task.
Yeah, so, if you have questions, please ask. Just let me know, and I might not... just know that I might not be able to answer them all.
Of course, Tucker. You've been nothing but wonderful about all of this.
A small smile creeps on my face, and I give him a small nod. A small nod. Helping me down off the scale, he leads us over to another fairly innocuous tool hanging against the wall.
Do you mind taking off your shoes? Actually, I was hoping to get a more accurate measurement of your height.
Taking off my worn shoes, I place my back against the wall and follow Doc's instructions as he guides me on how to stand. It seems far more complicated than a need be until he realizes that I don't have ears that poke up. So he just lowers the bar until it's flush hits my head. Okay. So am I short? Or is everyone I've met just really tall?
Compared to Karens, you would definitely be considered on the shorter side. But for humans, well, you tell me.
Just a bit shorter than average, but nothing of note.
Ah, so humans are normally shorter than Karens. Interesting.
That feels like an insult to all of humanity, even if it's just a fact.
Well, as I hope you've noticed, Karens can vary in size quite wildly. I would say that Maruk is about average height, if not a bit taller.
Oh, so you are tall for a Karen then.
Yes, indeed.
How does Tyre feel about that?
Oh, he manages.
I can imagine.
Oh, I've been meaning to ask. Perhaps explain the human life cycle a bit. Like, at what age are you considered an adult, and how long are you expected to live? That sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm pretty sure the human brain doesn't finish developing until we're about 25 or something, so let's just say that for adults. And I think most people live till they're 80? Maybe a bit more if you're lucky.
Oh my, really? That's, not very long. The average current lifespan is 180 cycles, sometimes longer.
Wow, really? That is impressive.
I suppose it is now, put into context.
Damn, that's long. No wonder they have such impressive scientific advancements. So, wait, are you considered young then? You're only, what, 33?
34, and no, not really. I'm still well an adult by current standards, as are the rest of your guardians.
I guess that makes sense. Still, what do they do with all the time, though? Doc seems to notice as I start to slip into deep thought, pleasantly changing the topic.
Your cut seems to have healed quite well. I was worried when I first saw it, but it's almost gone now. I'm glad. I'd hate to have gotten a permanent scar from something like that.
Oh, yeah, I was curious about that, Doc. How'd you get it to close up so nicely? I don't see any stitches.
Oh, well,
Seems like he's regretting bringing it up.
That was the emergency team's doing. In a panic, they used a particular device to seal your wounds shut. Mind you, I was not consulted on this, nor was I present, as I would not have recommended the use of if I were. But since you were losing blood and they saw no alternative, they acted.
Oh, well, it worked, didn't it?
Yes, I'm glad for it. But the machine had only ever been used on Karen, so using it on you is very risky.
Can I see it?
Oh, yes. I believe I have one lying around here.
Getting up, he checks a few drawers before coming back to me with a surprisingly small device.
Here you are. A
Colloquially. I know what that is. I know what that word is. But saying it in a voice is hard.
Colloquially, they're called weavers. Although the name,
Belize?
its true functionality. What it actually is doing is soldering skin tissue to try and create a flawless bridge between a cut. It's not a pleasant process, mind you, but it's fast.
So they used that on me? It doesn't look too dangerous.
Well, it can just as easily cause damage when not used correctly. You do not want to see what it looks like when somebody accidentally sews their paws to their leg. It's never fun to clean up.
We don't have anything like that back home. Not that I know, at least. Just good old normal stitches for us.
Oh, they would have been more in line with my recommendations, but no, they had their orders. For what it's worth, they were reprimanded heavily by the professor when they found out, which saved me a lot of time.
Tyre was looking over my affairs? I thought he was too busy.
Well, yes and no. He oversees your affairs in a general sense, while leaving the specifics to me and your guardians.
And he still manages? Whatever it is he does? What does he do exactly?
Professor Seno heads the particle physics lab. Mind you, in his free time, he also works on advanced robotics, computations, astrophysics, neural-based languages, synthetic materials, and bionics, as well as a few other things.
He's a doctor in all of those things?
Well, no. He's 147, Tucker. He has hobbies.
Hobbies?
Well, he's not an expert in every field, but he's still highly regarded. If you must know, though, he's considered at the top of his field in particle physics, advanced robotics, and neurals-based systems.
I know he has some projects he was working on. Is there anything particle physics?
It's complicated.
Worth a shot. Well, that's still amazing, Doc. And he taught you?
Huh?
I mean, he is your father, yes? Did he teach you his hobbies?
Oh, no, Professor Seno has taught me a great deal of things, but he allows me to focus on medicine. Particle physics usually go over my ears a bit.
Why does he call him that? Professor Seno? Isn't he just his dad? Some people have that relationship with a parent. Come on. We can't judge, right? He said I could call him by his first name. Surely Morrow can too, right? Oh, in that sense, okay. Well, he works on neurals too, right? I mean, he made the translation algorithm thing. Can you explain how that at least?
Oh, the algorithm itself? Probably not. But I could give you a more in-depth explanation of how neurals work, if you'd like. He's taught me that much, at least.
Oh, yeah? Please.
Well, the main use of neurals is to integrate passively with technology. In the case of bionic limbs, one would be able to use a simple model without a neural, but with a neural, a greater variety becomes available. And if someone without a neural were to implant a prosthetic, they might just suffer from a lack of functionality. Nothing detrimental, mind you.
Sorry, I'm still a bit confused. Is it that hard to get a neural? Are they expensive, or,
Well, most people don't really need a neural. The fact that most of the Karens you've met so far have one is very irregular. It's not something anyone would need in the day-to-day unless, of course, they needed a new limb or had to integrate with some new machine.
What do you mean by integrate?
Uh, have you seen how Maruk works? As, how sometimes his monitor only displays a few screens, and yet he uses more than that.
Oh, so that I wasn't imagining. Yeah, I think so. Why?
Well, that's how his neural interfaces with his monitor through his eyes. And while most people have monitors, not everyone has the kind of model that would be enhanced by neural usage.
So does he need the neural to see his monitor?
Only aspects of it. It's really more to help him with his eye. The only reason you'd need to get a neural is if you were getting a bionic prosthetic, or if you have to work with military-grade hardware.
Oh, I hadn't put much thought into that yet. I guess it makes sense they'd have to have a military. I mean, I know Maruk is a lieutenant or whatever, but still. Although, all of this does raise questions. Marrowyn, does Tyre have a neural?
No. Why?
Well, you said that he can use... that they can be used to integrate with monitors and specific hardware. Wouldn't that be useful to him?
Oh, Tucker. That's why I'm around.
What do you mean?
If he needs something done with neural, he usually just asks me to do it.
What? But aren't you busy with your work?
Well, sometimes yes, but it's alright. As far as I'm concerned, the work he's doing is far more important than the research being done here. At least until you showed up, of course. That being said, I still do need to help out every once in a while.
Does Marrowyn not value his work, or is he just serious about how important Tyres is? I'm surprised that he'd go so far as to drop what he's doing at a given moment, but I suppose it's a chain of command kind of thing. And anyways, he did say he has assistants, so I imagine they just pick up the work for him when he's not here. And this is that project he was talking about, right? So you've been working on this too?
Not directly. I just help out running some of the diagnostics.
Huh. Well, I'd love if you could tell me about it sometime. But I get the impression it's a bit secretive.
As soon as the opportunity arrives, I'll let you know what I can. Most of the holdup is because we're still unsure if the test was successful.
Oh, right. Is he still upset about that?
You could say that. He's preoccupied though, so no need to worry.
I'm not worried, I'm just curious. Should I be worried? Alright. I'll get off your tail about it. He chuckles, even though I'm not sure he understood me, and gets back to finishing up something on the monitor. I guess I'll have to leave it at that for today. He doesn't seem like... Oh, knocking? Marrowyn slowly turns to the door, sauntering over to check who it is. Alright, everyone. I'm going to end the part here. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around.